Hello, this is Leisha Breen with Journey to Greatness, 365 Days to Your Best Year Yet, and the author of the little book, Extraordinary People Living Ordinary Lives, Break Free. Break free from the herd and reclaim your greatness because you are great. Now, we have been doing this for several weeks now, working on ourselves, working on our mindset, loving ourselves a whole lot more, and doing the things we need to do right by us. But on this journey, sometimes we can bump into something called discouragement. And what is discouragement? The word itself comes from the root word courage, and its prefix dis means the opposite of. So discouragement is the opposite of courage. And here's the thing, when we're discouraged, we have lost the motivation to press forward. That mountain, I always say, I'm going to build a mountain from a little hill. I love that song. It becomes too steep. And that valley, it gets a little dark and scary. And sometimes the battle, it just seems too fierce, or we're not making the progress that we feel we should be making. And we lose optimism, we lose hope, and sometimes people will just give up. We lose the courage to continue. Don't let this happen. Discouragement can be pretty insidious. It can just kind of stealthily slip into your mindset and start chipping away at your attitude. And once your attitude starts to slip to subpar, once you start feeling like you can't handle it, you can't make it happen, you have to stop that right then and there. You have to acknowledge that it's happening, because a lot of times people don't even know that they're slipping into that mental state. A few things will go wrong, there'll be a few setbacks, and they'll give up instead of pushing forward. When we give up on ourselves, we're creating a habit of giving up on ourselves. And we can take that habit through to our deathbed. And if we do that, we'll never live up to our potential. So discouragement is something we have to be aware of. So the question becomes, you're feeling a little discouraged. Things aren't going the way you want them to go. And you may feel like giving up, or maybe giving up temporarily. But you can't let that happen. So setbacks, let's first embrace this. They're inevitable. They're a part of life. And sometimes obstacles can make you feel really depressed. So much so that they make you feel like you got to give up. Focusing on positives and then learning to view the setbacks as a learning opportunity can help you avoid feeling discouraged when you run into life's little curveballs, big and small. So how do we do it? How do we take that control back of the thing that is controlling us? And in this particular situation, it's discouragement. We have to choose our outlook. We're a collection. Our life, the thing we see in front of us, the life we're living today, is a collection of choices. At some point, we made a choice, and that's why we live where we live today. That's why we work where we work today. That's why we are maybe involved with the people that we're involved with today, or have them in our life, is because of choices that we made. So you have that power to choose your outlook, especially when you're discouraged. You always have a choice, but when you're discouraged, you need to wake up, be aware of it, and then choose a new outlook. You have to take charge. So how do you do that? First of all, you visualize accomplishing your goals. You sit down and you get a clear vision on how happy you'll be when you either earn that promotion or when you meet your weight loss goal. You have to focus on the positive outcome of accomplishing rather than becoming discouraged about how far away you might be or seem to be from actually getting to that finish line. Remember this. It's about the journey. It's about the the journey to the end goal, not the goal itself. You're learning, you're growing, you're developing through that process. So there's work involved. You have to embrace that too. There's hard work involved. Sometimes that discouragement, you just have to embrace that suck and say, I'm not going to allow this to affect me. So you have to visualize accomplishing your goals and enjoy the journey while you're working through it. Now, the second thing that you need to do if you're feeling discouraged is focus on the successes that you've already had. Avoid focusing on the failures or the struggles right now. That can be very discouraging if that's where your mindset is settled. Flip the switch and focus on your successes and the actions you can take moving forward to achieve your goals. And we've all been on a diet, so let's talk about weight loss for a second. Let's say you're on a food plan to lose weight and you had a bad weekend or you had a bad week where you overate and you didn't work out. Do not beat yourself up over it. Instead, focus on what you did right, such as getting right back on track the following morning, or that you're going to get right back on track. Focus on what you did right, or if there wasn't a whole lot that you did right, what you're going to do right going forward. People make mistakes, we all make them, but we have to change our mindset and focus on what we can do instead of what we did wrong and the successes that we may have had. Focus on what's positive. And then when it comes to setbacks, we need to look at the setbacks as learning opportunities. A lot of times we may even get back on track. We may get back on that diet. We might get back on that treadmill. But we never took the time to learn from the mistakes. Did we not plan things well? Did we just fall back into bad habits of, in the case of weight loss, did we go back to poor eating habits to comfort ourselves? Or we just got sloppy and went to McDonald's and ate a whole bunch of really naughty foods? Or foods that aren't good for you, especially if you're on a food plan that's, involving health. So we want to look at those setbacks, those mistakes that we made or that we failed at, something we failed at, as learning opportunities. We have to take the time to look at it and then learn from it and not dwell on it. Because sometimes the dwelling on the negative is an excuse not to take any action going forward. It becomes a pity party where we feel sorry for ourselves and we just stay there. And that means we don't have to get back to work. So we have to be really careful that negating isn't an excuse to just be lazy and slip back into bad habits. We have to become awake and aware. So those three basic changes in how we're dealing with discouragement will definitely flip the switch from the negative to the positive. And then take the time to set some realistic goals. Ask yourself if your goals are unrealistic. Have they set you up for discouragement? So be sure that the goals that you've set for yourself are something you can accomplish. Are they realistic? Can they be completed in a reasonable amount of time? Remember this. We don't like to remember this, but progress takes time. And for the most part, results will not happen overnight. So be sure to break up the large goals into smaller steps so that you feel better able to conquer them. Now, I hope I've given you something to think about. And there's one more thing I want to add to this, and that's that you should be journaling your progress so that when you run into these situations where you're feeling discouraged or you've had a setback, that you can go back into your journal and say, hey, you know what? I've had a lot of successes over these past few months. I have accomplished some of my goals, if not most of them, the baby steps to the big finish line. And celebrate those in your mind's eye. Celebrate your accomplishments. Choose to switch up that feeling of discouragement to a can-do attitude. And you'll see within a matter of minutes, you will be able to move forward into the day with a much better attitude, and that discouragement will just fizzle away. I promise you that. So today, let's get down to our mini mindfulness meditation. And so I want you to sit down and I want you to relax. If you're driving your car, please pull it over to the side of the road and get settled while I get my music set up. Today's mindfulness meditation is called What I Can Feel. Today we're going to focus on the things we can feel. So right now you should be settled, you should be comfortable and sitting in a dignified fashion. If you have a back problem, feel free to lay down and relax, but don't fall asleep. Close your eyes. We're going to take 3 deep breaths in and we will release those breaths through our mouth. So let's begin. Deep breath in through the nose and release through the mouth. Deep breath in through the nose and out through your mouth. Deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. First, bring your focus to your feet. What can you feel in your feet or on your feet? Are you barefoot? Can you feel shoes or socks on your feet? Can you feel the floor? What do these things feel like? Next, gently move your focus up to your legs. What can you feel on your legs? Your pants? The chair? Try to notice everything you can feel on your legs. Now move your focus to your stomach. What can you feel there? Your clothes? The desk? A chair? What do they feel like? Next, move your focus to your arms. What can you feel on your arms? Try to notice as many things as you can. What do your arms feel like? Next, bring your focus to your head and your face. What can you feel on your head and your face? Is there anything else on your body that you can feel? Try to notice everything that you can. When you are finished, take another deep breath in through your nose and release through your mouth. So let's take a deep breath in together and release. Let's do 2 more. And release. Deep breath in and release. And now you can open your eyes. I want to thank you for being with me today. And I really want to encourage you that if you are feeling discouraged, that you take a look at that feeling. that you try some of these tips that I've discussed in flipping that switch from discouragement to courage, to a can-do attitude, because you see, our life is made of choices. You have a choice as to how you want to feel. If you're feeling discouraged, that feeling may have settled in there subconsciously. But once you wake up to it, you have to snap out of it. You have to focus on the positives. You have to focus on the things you have accomplished. You have to envision what it is that you want to accomplish. It may take some time to do that, to turn that feeling around. Because most of the time, guys, we don't sit there and say, oh, I want to feel discouraged. I want to feel upset. I want to feel like I'm going to quit. Because quitting on ourselves is probably one of the worst defeats of all. So it's certainly not something we intentionally want to create. But when we feel discouraged, we need to face that feeling, and then we have to flip that switch so that we don't allow it to cause us to lose time, our most precious resource. I hope I've given you something to think about today. As always, be bold, be brave, and always, always be your authentic self. Until we meet again, bye for now.